Hi everyone, it's Shannon and welcome to today's video. So as you can see, I have no makeup on and I'm going to be testing out a new foundation. And actually I have already tested it out. I am just going to apply it on camera, talk about it, and I'll show some footage of kind of my wear test that I did and you know what I think of it. But I didn't film me actually applying it the day that I did my wear test. So but anyway, this is the I won't say brand new, this is the newish foundation from Smashbox. It is the Smashbox Always On Skin Balancing Foundation plus hyaluronic acid and adaptogens. So yeah, let's try it out. Okay, so from their website, this is what it states. It's an innovative long-wearing foundation with skin balancing oil control and hydration infused with our Balance Boost complex. This powerful blend of ingredients features hyaluronic acid for instant and 24-hour hydration, as well as adaptogens that help skin work like an automatic thermostat to balance levels of oil and hydration. This skin-powered foundation improves skin's balance instantly and over time. The buildable formula delivers medium to full coverage and freshly applied natural looking finish. And then it says it visibly improves skin tones, all this stuff. But the most important thing for me is the longevity, because I'm always looking for a good foundation that has longevity. My favorite, long wearing foundation is the Airbrush Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Filter Foundation. I love that. I do like the Estee Lauder Double Wear, but that's very tricky. And that one also tends to look dry on my face. I don't have, just for reference, if you're new to my channel, I'm 47. I have combination skin. Probably more combination normal to oily than dry, but I do sometimes will have dry skin, but that's usually just because I'm using some sort of product. I live in a humid climate, so that's a big factor. I live in South Florida, so there's only a few times a year where I'm in cold weather, and it doesn't last very long. So I tend to get stuff that is long wearing and not necessarily for dry skin. So if you have dry skin and you live in a cold climate, this review is probably not going to do any good. But if you're any of those things, then keep watching. But yeah, so I'm always on the hunt for a good long-wearing foundation. So I was very excited to check this one out. Also, I did pick up during the Ulta 120 1 Days of Beauty sale the Smashbox Halo Healthy Glow 4-in-1 Perfecting Pen. It is basically a concealer. I have the Halo Tinted Moisturizer, which I really like. I got this, and then I did order, this was like 50% off one day, and then I did order the cheek tint, but then it got canceled on me because they were very popular. They ended up selling out, but the shade that I bought sold out and it got canceled on me the next day. So it was already too late to order a different shade. But yeah, so I bought this and I have two shades of the foundation. So I have shade L10 Neutral, and then I have L20 Neutral. Now L20 Neutral will be perfect when I have a spray tan. It's a little dark for me, I think, but then L10 Neutral is pretty light. So I'm probably going to wear the L20 today just so that I have one shade so you can see. But what I did is I will probably mix them a little bit, and then the L20 is when I have a spray tan, which honestly, when I need a long wearing foundation, is usually when I have a spray tan because I'm going somewhere. But so that is what the old shade that I had in their Hydra Fresh foundation, I think it's what it's called, was 2.12. And there's a whole chart on their website of like what you wore in that shade and what we would match. I think it's a pretty good match. I'm neutral, warm leaning, but tend to, if I'm ordering online, I tend to go for a neutral shade instead of a warm shade because I'm probably more neutral than warm, but just it really depends on the foundation. So, but this one is a pretty good match. So we're gonna try it on now. Okay, so before we get started, I do want to just do two swatches of the two foundations on my cheek so you can see the difference. So this is going to be the L10 Neutral, and this one I think is too light. I might use it, to kind of highlight, because I will say, spoiler alert, so far I like the foundation. And then let me get the L20. This is the one I'm going to use today because I do think that this is a better match, but it is a little dark. But however, when I sheer it out, it does work for me. So again, so that is the L10 neutral. This is the L20 neutral. And I will also say is that you'll see in the videos that there doesn't really oxidize. Like it pretty much stays the same. I don't feel like it changes a lot of color. So anyway, L10 neutral, L20 neutral. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply half of my face, and here you can see it is a little runny. So as far as a long wearing foundation, you know, one of the things that drives me nuts with the Estee Lauder Double Wear is how fast you have to work. And if you don't, it dries down really, really fast. This one gives you time to work with it. It does dry down. However, it does, you know, you do have time to work with it. So I'm not going to put it up to the eye because I am going to put the concealer on, though the concealer is a lightweight concealer. Now this is like a medium to full coverage, and I think that is a pretty good description of it. But you know, as you can see, it's giving me time to work with it. And as you can see, I think it's just a tad too dark, but I have no spray tan right now. I have no tan whatsoever. So I think when I do have a spray tan, I think it's going to look really, really nice. I think it's a pretty good match for me, you know, when I do have some sort of color. But let me just wrap this up and then I'll do a side by side. Okay, so here is the side by side. This is the face with, this is the face without. So I think it gives really beautiful coverage, but doesn't look, you know, like that, like, you know, complete canvas, which I like. I have learned, especially since I just did some laser, and my skin tone really looks good. It's very even. So I don't need as much coverage as I sometimes felt I did because my skin tone has been evened out a lot. So it looks just really nice. But you can see the difference. Again, a little dark for me, but I think it just gives really beautiful coverage. Now I do have a little blemish here. So now I'm gonna go in on this side and we'll see how it covers. Also wanted to mention, I do not have any sort of primer on. When I try a foundation, I usually do wear a primer. But when I try a foundation, especially one that's, you know, testing its longevity, I won't use a primer because not everybody does. I like a primer, and I plan on using this with the Smashbox one because I love the Smashbox primers, and the Smashbox foundations usually work really well with their primers, but I have not tested that yet. Okay, so now it is applied all over my face, and you can see I have a little blemish here, and let me see if I can lower. I have a lot of lights, but let me see if you can lower. You can see where it really covered it up, not completely, but it covered it up pretty well, and I'm, you know, confident, you know, I feel like that's comfortable. I do set my face. I always set my face. Like I don't just never not set my face. So I don't do a lot of powder, but I do a light dusting of powder. But then I won't, when I do a testing, I don't put powder throughout the day. So I just do like I set it, but then I don't powder it. I don't use setting powder or anything. So that will be, you know, as I go in the videos, that will be what I did yesterday when I did do a test run. But you can see, I think the coverage is absolutely beautiful. I think it, I'm really impressed with just the coverage. It looks natural. I feel like it's not too drying as far as kind of the initial thoughts from between this and Estee Lauder Double Wear, which is probably what I would compare it to. The Double Wear is definitely longer lasting, but it just gives me more of a drier form, you know, drier feeling. This, I don't even feel like I'm wearing it. So, but this is it right now. So now let's get into the concealer. Now the concealer I have not used yet. Again, this is F30N. That's the shade I got. I'm not sure if it's going to be too light, but you can see I have not used it, and I don't have any under eye corrector on. I typically do. So this is like a lightweight concealer. I kind of got this to go with the tinted moisturizer, the Halo tinted moisturizer, because I think that's pretty much what it's supposed to go with. But since I was testing and doing a trial run and I bought this, I had intended, oops, it's very runny. I had intended to do like a whole video on the Halo, but then when I didn't get the cheek tint, I scrapped that idea of a video. So obviously I put too much, so I'm going just to take it on my finger first and apply it and then blend it out and see how, let's see. Yeah, it's a little light. I definitely can make it work because I think it's pretty sheer, but it's definitely a little light and I put way too much out. So I always use my e.l.f. Camo concealer sponge. This I think is the best thing to, yeah, that's a little light. But again, it's pretty sheer, so I can make it work, but it is a little light. Okay, so there it is, the concealer. Now, I did get a shade. Because it's so sheer, I can definitely make it work, but I will probably use this more as a kind of a highlighter, and I think that's what it's supposed to be. It's like a perfecting pen. You can use it as a contour. I do like the pen portion of it because I was able to kind of go here and put a little parts where I was going to highlight it. But the shade is a little light for me, and honestly, I don't love it under my eyes. And it's not that I just put it on. So if I don't, it's too sheer for me. And you know, obviously the shade, but I don't know, it just looks a little, it just doesn't look smooth. So I do like it. I did use it a couple other places on my face, and I like the pen portion of it. I even used it to kind of carve out my eyebrows, which I never do, but it's really easy to use that way. Under my eyes, I don't really love it. If that changes, I will put it in the comments or in the description box below. Obviously, I did not test this one when I tested the foundation initially, so this is not going to be a wear test for this, but I think this is good. It's not great. It's nice. It's, you know, I'll definitely use it. For the 50% off that I got it for the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale was definitely, I think I paid like $14.50 or $14. So, you know, for that, I'll definitely make use out of it. But for under eyes, it's not going to be what I'm going to use. So, but I'm going to finish up, and I will come back and tell you my final thoughts on this Always On foundation from Smashbox. Okay, so here I am about 3 hours after applying the foundation. I loved how it looked. And then here is about 6 hours after I first applied the foundation. And my final check-in was about 11 and a half hours in. Obviously, I'm pretty shiny, but I thought it still looked great. Okay, so I am back to do kind of thoughts on the Smashbox Always On Skin Balancing Foundation. So as you can see from my video from yesterday doing the wear test, now I will say I have been wearing it for like 4 or 5 hours right now because I've been filming quite a bit today and just running around my house doing things. So definitely lasted. I haven't really had to touch up. I've had to touch up a little bit just because I've been doing some different makeup and some lipsticks and stuff, but it has really lasted, and this is without a primer, and this is under the hot light. So very, very impressed with this. My initial impressions of the concealer though is not good. Definitely not under the eyes. I won't be wearing it under the eyes again. Not a fan. It's creasy, it's blotchy, it's an absolute no. However, I will use it. I did get a light shade too light for me anyway, which probably worked out well because I can use this, you know, to highlight different parts of my face. But under the eyes, this is an absolute no. But foundation, I think the foundation's really good. Is it going to beat my Charlotte Tilbury? Not right now. But I'm gonna keep trying it and I'm gonna be testing it, but I do really, really like it. I just wish there was a shade. I think the shade L20 is a little too dark for me, like for normal. You know, when I'm like I said, when I'm spray tanned, I think it'll be perfect. The L10 is definitely too light for me. But I probably mix the two. I have both of them. It's $45, so it is pricey, but I'm gonna keep testing it. But I think it's a very good, solid foundation. I will say it doesn't have the staying power like the Estee Lauder Double Wear. However, I like how it wears better than the Estee Lauder Double Wear. So if I am looking for a 8 to 10 hour coverage that's going to last, I'm going to go for this over my Double Wear. The reason why is because the Double Wear starts to dry out for me, and I start to feel cracky, my face cracking, and I feel like I need to do like a facial mist. I don't feel like this. This just feels very comfortable and hydrating, and I don't feel that dryness that I do with the Double Wear. It's also easier to apply. So I do, now if I need something that's going to last all day and not, then I probably go with the Double Wear, or I'm going with my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Filter, because that does last too. But I'm anxious to try this with a primer, because I think with the Smashbox primer, I think it's going to be fantastic. So again, I usually wear those other foundations with primers. I didn't wear this with a primer, so I'm not even testing it to its full capability with a primer. So, but I really like it. I think it wears really well, especially on my 47-year-old skin. So I think if you have oily skin, you're probably not going to like it. So oily skin, I would say, is probably not for you, but for dry skin or combination, especially combination or normal, I think that this is one to definitely check out. So, if there's a sale, especially I think it's at Ulta, Smashbox isn't at Sephora, so it's at Ulta. So maybe $45 is a little pricey, but wait for an Ulta sale. But I think it's a really good foundation, and I'm anxious to continue using it, and to see how I like it, long term. So that's really when you find out. I'm probably going to be doing a foundation roundup, hopefully in the near future. It's just a matter of, for me, getting the time to do so. But I've been testing so many foundations that I definitely want to do a foundation roundup. So hopefully when I do, this will be included. So with that, if you like this video, click like, click and subscribe. That way you get a notification every time I post a new video. Bye everyone.